This is the University of National Champions. Of course, y'all know that's UNC, of course. This is part 6. We're going to talk about it on 94 feet of UNC.
Doherty to Black. The time, 18. Shot, Jordan! Michael Jordan!
Swicker with the defense and the rebound. That's a good effort by Swicker.
Stackhouse streaking in on Park. Rebound dunk is good, and he gets fouled by Park. Oh my goodness, what a dunk by Stackhouse.
Interesting that he brought him back so quickly, but you know what? They're down east. It's very you can't teach that. You can't teach that high-rising ability. 3. And Green rips down the rebound in traffic. 4-on-1. Great job. What a terrific job in transition. I mean, you could.
The glass no good. Rebound followed by hand throw. Good! Carolina.
Inside 30 overall. Love. Top of the key.
Alice about this over. Carolina. The Tar Heels have won the national championship.
And that is it. There is a new team in college basketball. North Carolina takes the title. Captain, any final. North Carolina is the 2009 national champion. And this year, the confetti is going to fall to North Carolina. They're not going to be denied this time.
What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, October 8th. You are tuned in to the 94 Feet of UNC podcast. I am your host, Lindsay Graham. I got a special guest in the building with me today. Not an unfamiliar face, of course, but he decided to stop in for a second all the way from the West Coast, of course, to come chop it up with me a little bit. Got my guy Quentin Thomas in the building. But before we get into chopping it up with him, please make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel at 94 Feet of UNC. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any content that I bring to you guys, because as I always say, you never know who's going to stop in, right? So make sure that you do that. Make sure you hit me up on my socials at 94 Feet of UNC on Twitter, on Instagram. All the information is at the bottom of the screen. So tap in with me. I reply back if you hit me up. I'm not one of those type of people. Feel me? So make sure you tap in with me. I got 94 Feet of UNC merchandise podcast that's coming. Well, the 94 Feet of UNC podcast merchandise that is coming soon. But in order to find out about the free giveaways and contests and things like that I got planned for everybody and all my fans, make sure you tap in with me. Make sure you follow me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on anything, all right? My guest in the building today is 2005 national champion Quentin Thomas. He is in the building. He's here at the Zell Dome, everybody. Q, what's up, bro?
Zell, what's happening, man? Thank you for having me, bro.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. You know, listen, man, you know how it is, man. Like, we got to get together and chop it up, man. See what was going on and how everything was when you became that champion, my guy. You feel me? So, I mean, it is what it is. It's an honor for you to be here, man. I appreciate you stopping by, chopping it up with me for sure.
It's all love, man. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So, I tell you, before we jump into everything, let's introduce yourself to everybody. For those that don't know, for the new era, for those that don't know, introduce yourself. Let everybody know. Everybody in the old era, we already know who Q is. You feel me? So let everybody know who you are, man.
My name is Quentin Thomas, born and raised in Oakland, California. Grew up on the West Coast in the town. Went to UNC from 2004 to 2008. My freshman year, our team was fortunate enough to win a national championship in 2005. Was able to go to the Final Four twice, Elite Eight, I think 3 times. So every year I was able to make the tournament. But just a lot of great memories, a lot of great stories, a lot of good times, learning experiences, ups and downs of just the whole being a student athlete. But to have that experience at Chapel Hill, man, with my teammates, my brothers, my coaches, it was a hell of a ride, man. Definitely a hell of a ride.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And this of course, is my first time chopping it up with you. So let me be first. to say congratulations, you know what I'm saying, on that accomplishment, because a lot of people aren't fortunate enough to be able to say those two words, national champion. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to you, salute to you, man. Congratulations on everything and the hard work that you put in for the university. We truly appreciate that for sure, for sure.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so for all my fans out there, just so y'all know, if you go back and look at the pictures that's been on social media here lately for the 20 years since the 2005 national champions was announced, everybody that was at the UNC football game, Q was of course in the picture, standing out there with the rest of his teammates and the rest of the guys or whatever. So, yeah, just in case if nobody knew that or whatever, just go back and check out the pictures. You'll see Q standing out there with all of the other legends for sure, as he is himself. So big shout out to that or whatever. So Q, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Let me ask you, like, because I ask everybody this: how did you become a Tar Heel fan? And if you wasn't a Tar Heel fan, then yeah, how did that happen?
Well, growing up, man, honestly, I watched a lot of basketball growing up. I didn't have a favorite college team.
Hmm.
Like I said, being born and raised in Oakland, like I've always been a Warrior fan. It didn't start when Steph, Clay, and Dre got here. You know what I'm saying? When we was very bad. I was a Warrior supporter, always been an Oakland kid. But Carolina was a school I would always watch on Saturday mornings. You know what I'm saying? Whether they playing Kentucky or watching ACC games. But I was never a fan of the school or program. Um, and then once, honestly, going through the whole recruiting process and Carolina wound up being the school I got to, that's when I became the fan that I am today and the supporter of just UNC as a whole and the basketball program. But it took for me to be a part of it, for me to really be a true fan and a true supporter for real.
I got you. I got you. I got you. It's crazy because everybody in a way almost has the same story. Like, you know what I'm saying? They didn't grow up as Tar Heel fans or anything, but it's like you get that offer from Carolina. That's like that's like getting an offer from the Yankees. Like one of my friends told me a long time ago or whatever. Like, it's hard to resist. It's hard to turn down. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, being from the West Coast, of course, I mean, yeah, you probably you saw some Carolina games that were that were nationally televised, but I mean, I guess it would be kind of hard to be a Tar Heel fan out there on the West Coast because there's a lot of other schools out there on the West Coast that you could also become a fan of, the UCLA's, the Arizonas, and the list just goes on and on. So, I mean, hey, listen, we glad that you made the right decision, I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you brought your talents to the East Coast, to Chapel Hill for sure, and it paid off. So that's a big thing right there, bro, for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely something that, like I said, I grew up playing and watching basketball all the time. So Carolina
Yeah,
was always on TV, so
yeah,
I knew the players, I knew the players for the most part. But it was just an eye opening to walk on that campus and see everything. Or, even growing up, I didn't know that Carolina and Duke were as close as they are. I used to
right.
think Duke was like in New York or somewhere closer to that area. And then
Yeah,
when I get here, then I learn to ride to, like, oh, you walking in the grocery stores and malls and fans messing with you or showing you
yeah,
love. Um, so when I got to be a part of it, that's when everything started making a lot more sense for me, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's just what it is. That's the rivalry. The rivalry speaks for itself. Like, you know what I'm
All right.
saying? So I mean, to me, greatest rivalry in sports. Maybe might be second behind the Yankees and Red Sox, but when all else fails, I probably got to edge it to UNC and Duke, man, for sure. So I mean, that's just the way that it is. If you're in the triangle area, you know how big that the rivalry is, you know, and you know what it means. And not only with just Carolina and Duke, but you also got state fans in the area as well. So it's a mixture of so much going on.
Right.
So, and I think that's what helps keeps the rivalry so big. All of them actually between the three of them, like because of how close they are in
Right.
proximity. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Carolina and Duke, nothing like it for sure. So, like Q, walk us through the recruitment process, how everything happened.
To be honest, man, and it's probably a negative thing, but growing up in Oakland, like we had so much talent around us, and still do, but had so much talent around us. Um, but it wasn't like a lot of big schools coming here, at least during my time, right? Or a lot of the athletes would go to school and then might get in trouble and have to come back home. So I'll say about middle school, like I didn't even have in my mind like I was gonna play ball in college. Basketball for me was an outlet. Although like I probably realized at a young age that I was gifted and you know I was talented and I could do more than some of my peers or a lot of my peers around me. It was just a safe haven for me. I
Yep.
got to just be myself and whatever I was dealing with in the world. When I got into the gym or I got onto a court at the park, it was nothing else that mattered. It was just that. So that's how I had the joy of basketball my whole life. When I get to high school, I went to Oakland Tech uh, with Leon Poe, who played for the Boston Celtics, as well as Mondo Surratt, uh, Kenneth Smith, Deuce, and other athletes. Marshawn Lynch, whose family, like we had a lot of talent just at our high school alone. And I think I got my first letter from Nebraska, my ninth or 10th grade year. And I came home and I was joking with my dad. I was like, man, your baby boy's moving up in the world. And we kind of laughed and joked about it. But after that, a lot more colleges started reaching out, coaches. Back then, it was the Pac-10. So a lot of Pac-10 schools, just about all the Pac-10 schools were reaching out. Um, and I was thinking about going to Pac-10 schools, whether it be like a UCLA or Oregon, things of that nature. Um, but what happened was I was getting recruited by a lot of different schools throughout the states. But Coach Williams was at Kansas, and him and his coaching staff were recruiting me. They saw me my 10th grade year in high school in a basketball tournament in Florida. He was recruiting Leon Poe, but he saw me at the game, and he told my coach like that point guard is going to be a good kid one day. He's going to be a good player. I didn't even know who Coach Williams was, like off the name. Like this is how like I'm just in my own world. I knew who Kansas was. So once my coach said he coaches for Kansas, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up. But
Yeah.
that's how that started. And then when Coach Williams left Kansas, he went to Carolina. That's how Carolina became on my list. Like that wasn't just the reason that I went there, but that's how they became on my list. And I told Coach Williams, honestly, when he made that move back to UNC, I was like, man, I didn't think he was going to continue to recruit me. And he was like, why? I was like, no disrespect to Kansas or any other of these schools. I just looked at the expectations of Carolina at a high, very, very high level. And I knew that when it came to recruits, the best of the best go there. And not saying that I wasn't confident in myself. Again, this is a kid who never thought that he would go to play ball in college.
Yeah.
So to have all of these schools like at Carolina and other great schools approaching you and interested in you, you just start looking at things differently. But the process was interesting. It was fun at times. It was tough at times because you have to go through all of these different things, whether it's talking to coaches, if you have official visits, if you're trying to see what other kids are going to other schools. So even around that time, if I'm being honest and transparent, when some of these coaches are coming into my parents' home, I don't really know what to ask them as a 16, 17-year-old kid that's thinking about coming to this university, So I tell this joke to a lot of people where like when Coach Williams came to my home, he asked me if I had any questions after he finished talking to me and my parents.
Yeah.
And my mom cooked a great meal for him and Coach Robinson, I believe. I don't think it was Coach Holiday. I think it was Coach Rob. And I said, do I have to cut my hair when I get there? Like I had longer hair when I was there. And
Yeah.
now that sounds like a stupid question, right? But to a 16, 17-year-old at the time, I was basically asking them, do I have to change who I am to come to your school? Just with
Right.
identity alone. You know,
Right.
I didn't ask who was coming after me, who are you recruiting in my position. Like I didn't even think to ask any of these questions. But saying all that to say, then I took my visit, and I took my visit to Arizona State. I took a visit to Kansas, but I just felt like when I took my visit to Carolina, I just knew it was something in my heart that even beyond basketball, like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And
Yeah.
a lot of it had to do with my teammates, man. Like my teammates. My freshman year when we won the national championship, Marvin and I were the babies of the bunch, and everybody else
Yeah.
was upperclassmen, but they just took both of us under their wings. And my teammates, man, who are now my brothers now, that's who I thank the most, aside from the coaching staff and Coach Williams, of course. But they helped me grow as a player, but also just a young man and an individual.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just, you know, every guest that I have on, especially when it comes to like alumni players, um, everybody's story is similar, but they're so different. And that's the beauty of it. Like it doesn't because I mean, like you take for instance me, someone on the East Coast, but then someone like yourself on the West Coast and traveling all the way across country to come to Carolina. But then, when during the recruitment process, knowing, like, because I can imagine, somebody on the East Coast might say, hey, nah, I don't really want to go to the West Coast. I just don't. I don't want to be that far away from home. I want to make it, you know, feasible for my family to even be able to travel, come to the games, etc. And to hear how, you being from Oakland and then end up at Carolina, but then the picture that Carolina painted in your head when you got here and played and saw the campus and just the recruitment from what Coach Williams was probably saying to you, him and Coach Rob, and then the players, everybody's not ego driven or anything like that. Like they accept you for who you are and bring you in as a family, being a freshman, and treat you like family. Like it's a beautiful thing. And it just goes to show the 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 morals and values and integrity and dignity and the word family. It shows that's what Carolina bases things off of. Like
Mhm.
the word family is so key. Like it's a big, 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 big word. You know, there's a team down the road, they use the brotherhood. Well, the brotherhood is not a family. It's just a brotherhood. Whereas a family is so much bigger than that. And the way that Carolina goes about treating everybody as family, as such, it's just a beautiful thing. Like, and because you don't really see that from a lot of the modern day players nowadays. Like, I don't think they really truly under because of the fact now you got transfer portal, you got NIL, things like that are all now involved in college basketball and stuff as well. But Carolina is one of them things where, hey, we want you to come and play for the name on the front of the jersey. Period. Like, but we're gonna treat you like family. Once a Tar Heel, always a Tar Heel. That's the motto. Whether a player is here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. But if you put on that jersey, you're always gonna be Carolina family. And I mean, look at the Caleb Love example. That's a prime example right there. Caleb Love, yeah, he's at Arizona right now, but gave us 2 years at UNC. And to this day, we still treat Caleb like family, period. Regardless of what school that he goes to, if he had to transfer, whatever the case may be, he's still going to treat you as such, as family. And that's just a big, big thing right there. Um, it's hard to get that, I guess, nowadays from schools and other coaches, things like that, because everybody has different motives. Like when I talk to David and stuff like that, it's like pay for play instead of really coming to play to really grow as not only as a player but grow as a person as well. And Carolina is the prime example as far as the direction for a person to grow. It's the prime example, and a lot of people don't know that outside of the fans. They don't know that. The people that are not Tar Heel fans, they don't understand that. And I just think if people do a little bit more history on what UNC is really about, then I think a lot of these narratives that are put out here about the school and and things like that, they would truly understand. Like, nah, that's not UNC. That's not what they're about. That's not, what I'm saying. So, but I mean, remarkable story, bro. Like, it really is. It just because listen, I know how Oakland is. You know what I'm saying? I've been there one time, a long time ago, but I know how Oakland is for sure. Like, and Oakland can be, the Bay Area can be rough. It can.
Oh, Oakland can be Oakland. Oakland can be
There
Oakland.
you go.
Beautiful place, beautiful people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like anybody who knows me personally, they know how prideful I am of home. Like
Yeah.
you'll know where I'm from before you'll know my name 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
For real, for real.
Yeah.
But
And
growing
a
up,
lot of legends.
oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Outside of just
Yep.
sport, but for me growing up, it also at times seemed like a box when you lived here, and it seemed like either you went away or people would go away and they would never return because they just never want to come back home, or they were forced to come back home for something happening or a decision they made, and it just felt like a box. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, again, like I said, Carolina was never on my list, but it was almost like, you know what? Not only does it seem like a good situation, it's one of the schools that's the furthest away, 3,000 miles. I wasn't thinking like, oh, my parents can't make it to the game. I'm thinking the total opposite. I'm thinking, well, now my parents can travel to maybe a place that they wouldn't have gone before. And now, when I'm talking to my friends on the phone and they need to get away, now we're just not going to San Francisco or a city in the Bay Area. Now they can catch a flight and clear their mind in a whole nother area, So now, 20 years later, Chapel Hill, Durham, Raleigh, Greensboro, Charlotte, and everywhere in between, I've not only gained friends and family there, but I've also been able to bring my friends and family to a whole nother state, and the state's been able to accept them or chose to accept them and love them the same way they've loved me. Like I always tell people, man, I probably get more love now than I did when I was in school because of just all the relationships that I've built and continue to build and people that I'm around, man. Like, not just saying it because we're on this podcast, but Carolina is a beautiful place. And, it's beautiful people out there. And just the Southern hospitality. Like, first time I came out there, it was culture shock, honestly, because being from Oakland, like I said, we have beautiful people and kind people out here, but it's not everybody. So, like, walking down the street, you hardly really make eye contact with a person, let alone say what's up. So when I first came to Chapel Hill, I think I'm on Franklin Street. I might have been going to Sutton's to get something to eat. And this older lady just stopped and was like, "Hey, how are you doing? Good morning. How's your day going?" And I'm kind of looking at the lady like, "I don't know you. Like, why you talking to me, right?" But I walk away from that situation feeling like an idiot, and I'm looking at myself like, "Oh, you the jerk." Like she was just being kind and seeing how your day was. So fast forward, then years later, I'm back home and I'm in Richmond, California. Um, and I'm doing some stuff and I had to go to the hospital just for a checkup. And every time the nurse would ask me a question, I would say, "Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am." And she like, "Baby, you're not from here, huh?" And I'm like, "Nah, I am born and raised." I'm like, "I just went to school in the South and I just picked that up." So, it wasn't just basketball. To this day, I always tell people, and some people might not believe it, but I just feel like God used basketball as a tool for me in my life, man, to get to Chapel Hill. And
Yeah.
yes, I was able to be a part of a team that won a national championship. And yes, I was a part of history and to be around these professional athletes and these Hall of Fame coaches and just great players and all of this. But it was the relationships I built, man. Like before we got on here, and I was telling you, like my teammates are my brothers.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that play sports and their teammates aren't viewed as such to them. You feel what I'm saying? Like we all have different relationships with each other, but I can go to each one of those players, call them, talk to them. If I've needed help, my teammates have helped me, whether they knew or not. And not just on my team. You threw the word family, and that's very important to me. Very important to me. Like I don't play with that word.
Right.
So uh, I was dealing with an illness, but I got very, very sick last year. And to be honest and transparent, like I was almost out of here. And it was people who were helping me, like a Shaman Williams, who probably didn't even know he was helping me or what I was going through, and other people. Uh, no matter what it was, advice. Uh, it might be money to help with a situation that they don't know about, doctor bill, whatever. But that's family. And
Yeah.
like I said, like it wasn't just my teammates. My
Right.
sophomore year, we didn't Tyler, Bobby, and Mike Cope and Danny Green and Marcus Ginyard, all of them their freshman year, we didn't have a lot of players.
Right.
So Coach Hubert Davis, who's coaching now, and King Rice would practice with us. Now at the time, I know Hubert and King were in their 40s,
Yeah.
but they're out here practicing with us every day. And they didn't have to do that. That's family. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like that's family. We have a huge group chat that I'm hardly in as far as like just keeping up with everybody, but you have everybody in that group chat from
Yeah.
the '05 players to players before us to Maktar, Vince, Twan, Ed Cole, Shamont, like everybody's in there.
Yeah.
Um, so, just to have that family atmosphere as far as when you can go to somebody and you need somebody and they're there for you, you have that. So I don't take that for
Yeah.
granted for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, man, number one, family is the big word. And I'll never forget that, when I had the interview with Coach Bill Robinson, a while ago, the one of the main things that he said was, it's all about relationships. Um,
Right.
and I've always sat back and I've always wondered, if I was a player at UNC and here it is, I'm walking into the gym because every summer we have the summer game, or UNC has the summer games or whatever. And when you walk into the Ding Dome, and you don't know who you're gonna see. It could be somebody from such as yourself to the Marvin Williams, but then it could go to the Danny Green. It could go to the Tyler Zeller, the Hansborough, the Ginyards. It could. There's so like you said, I don't think there's no family bigger than the UNC family. I'm just gonna be honest with you. As far as recognizable names, like everybody around the country, maybe even around the world, they know Carolina name. I can't tell you 15 players that came out of Alabama or Baylor or Texas for that matter. Like a bunch of schools. So with Carolina, like you said, that humongous group chat, that everybody is probably in, like is it everybody shows what family is all about. And it's based off of relationships. And like you said, when you was going through, your situation, Shammond Williams reaching. I mean, we're talking about Shammond Williams that played in a total different era.
Yeah,
But
and that's what I'm saying. Like, and not just him. I'm talking about words of
right,
advice, encouragement.
right,
Um, if somebody long ends, like whatever it may be, like I
yeah,
have no shame and I'm not too prideful to have my village and let people know my village has helped and supported me in all the
yeah,
ways. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have a village. And that's
right,
that's just the realest. You know what I'm saying? So and going back to the point you made, the Tyler Zellers, the Justin Watts, the Kennedy Meeks. I didn't play with any of them. But when I see these guys, you wouldn't know it. You would
right,
think we were on the same team because we have these type of interactions and these relationships. And for me, that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the ball's gonna stop bouncing at some point, you know.
yeah,
So this is and this I can be so real with you. I used to tell Mike Copeland and Ray Terry this, Ray Sean Terry. I
yeah,
said, man, if I leave this university in 4 years or however many years I'm here, and all they know me for, the people who get a chance to know Quentin, if all they know me for is wearing this number 11, I ain't do this right.
right,
You feel me? And they both knew where I was coming from. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's about your character. Because at the end of the day, like you could hoop, you could do this and do this. There will be people that'll be around you, but they'll probably just tolerate you. I'd rather have
right,
people that truly want to be around me or want to support me, than just tolerate me. And again, my brothers and my teammates, just that accountability, that coaching
mhm,
staff, like Coach Williams was on us just that 2005 year, but all the years we were there, that accountability. And
yeah,
I not only want that, but need that. And we do that for each
right,
other. Like, man,
yeah,
you want some BS? Like, come on, pick it up. And
yeah, yeah,
I told Big May, Sean May that one game my freshman year, I threw a whole bunch of turnovers in a row. Man, it wasn't first, of course, but
right,
I threw a whole
right,
bunch of them. And Coach Williams called a timeout and Sean pulled me to the side, like, hey, Coach, gonna get on you right now. I'm just letting you know. And he didn't have to say that, but it was
right,
also a leader, like, hey, you're gonna go through this, he's gonna get on you, but come on, bounce back. You good.
yeah. You face
And
the adversity.
and that's a word that not just this generation, because we talk a lot of trash about this generation a lot of times as far as the
Right,
older adults. It's just the world and society, like even with the portal, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so many kids in the portal every year.
mhm,
And I don't have a problem with the portal because, you're in a situation sometimes and you might have to go to another school
right,
for whatever reason, maybe family, financial, whatever. But then
right,
there's so many kids that are just leaving because it's like, it's a hurdle. I don't want to go over that hurdle.
yeah,
And then when we get out in the real world, man, you can't just dodge things that easy. You have
right,
to kind of face it. And then when you have to face it, if I'm not used to it, oh, this is too much for me. I give up. And Carolina was one of those situations for me, man, personally, where it was like you had your ups, you had your downs. I would play sometimes, I wouldn't play. But again, like basketball was just a tool, bro. Like I truly believe that I learned so much. And the relationships that I have just from playing this sport
yeah,
is endless.
yeah,
It's endless. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like I told you, man, teammates recently having children. A couple weeks ago when we celebrated the 2005 national championship team, being around my teammates' families,
yeah,
wives, children, like you cannot recreate that. that feeling that you have, to be around that. So just a blessing,
Yeah.
bro. Just saying all that to say it was a true blessing.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, this goes back as far as I can remember, and like when I had to talk with Ray Terry about, I remember it being national news when after Dean Smith passed or whatever, what he did for all of the players that he coached. Like, who does that? Like, now, if anybody else ever does something like that, they're copying, they're mimicking. Like, that right there. But Dean Smith, when I hear these stories about Dean Smith, and it's a domino effect because it goes from Dean Smith to Roy Williams, or from Dean Smith to Bill Guthridge to Roy Williams to now Coach Davis. Like, North Carolina is not only one of those big time prestige schools, of course, but behind the scenes, from what people don't see, North Carolina teaches its players how to be men as well. And it's, of course, once again, but it goes back to that word family, period. And I mean, it's like, if one falls, then no worries, because the family is there. That's what family does. That's what I mean. Bottom line, no matter how people want to slice that pie, like, that's what family does. It reaches out. And like you said, you didn't play with some of those guys, Zeller and all of them or whatever. But the fact that you would never know that because of what the university teaches its players on and off the court. So that's a big
No,
thing.
definitely.
Absolutely.
When I was in school, thinking back on it, like being coached by Coach Williams, but Coach Guthridge was still around, and Coach Smith still had his office at the Dean Dome. Me and Coach Smith, we both share the same birthday, February 28th. So every year when I was in school, we would always celebrate Coach Smith's birthday, but they would at times do things with us together, and sing happy birthday to both of us. So imagine just being able to not only get coached by a Hall of Fame coach and coaching staff, but then when you're walking in the hallway, Coach Smith might stop and talk to you. Coach Guthridge might stop and talk to you. Then, other people like, may they rest in peace, the Stuart Scotts, the Eric Montross, recently, rest in peace, Joe Wolf. Those type of people would come back, man, or be around, and they would always have nothing but positive stuff to say. Like, people do not know how great of a person Stuart Scott was. You see him on ESPN a lot of times, but to really engage with this person, or Big E, like Eric Montross was an amazing man, like just an amazing man. We would talk about my music a lot, because I still do music, and he knew that. And his son, he would pull me to the side sometimes and be like, my son listens to your music all the time, Q. And I'm like, how old is he? I think at the time he was probably middle school, wasn't even high school yet. But we would just have these conversations. So, the national championship, playing at Duke, and all these phenomenal things, but nothing changes and nothing can make up for the relationships that you have with these people, man.
Yeah.
Like, nothing.
Yeah.
It never will.
It's incredible. It's incredible, man. It is incredible, man. And what I always tell people that are not fans of UNC, like, you might not like the school or whatever, but you gotta respect what happened behind the scenes. Like, if you don't respect that, what is it? If you can't respect that, your whole perspective is whack. Like Jay say, that's just what it is, bro. Like, I mean, you have no choice but to respect the way UNC operates, the coaching
And I
staff,
will
the
say, I
players.
didn't get to say it earlier, but for that 05 team, a lot of that had to do with our seniors, Jackie
Yeah.
Manuel, Jawad Williams, and Melvin Scott. Because their freshman year, they went 8-20. I don't even think I lost 20 games all 4 years while I was in school. So, and I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying that because we were just talking about adversity. And I remember talking to those three about it, and they would always say, like, man, it was times people wouldn't even say nothing to us on campus. They wouldn't even talk to us. Like, that's how bad we were. So from them to go from that to you see in 05 where they're not just holding a trophy, but then they're having a moment together, and then they do a prayer or they bring Coach Williams in to be a part of their prayer. Like, that started with them. That 05 championship wasn't just that started with them. And then you had the juniors, like, Dave, Raymond, Sean, and that whole class. And we had a lot of talented players, man. Like, I tell people all the time, we had people coming off the bench that could have started at other schools easily. And I mean, in the ACC. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Like, we had dogs on that team. And we had egos too. When I remember when me and Marvin first got there in that summer, like, people were bumping heads, but it was egos and head bumping as far as getting into it with each other, because everybody was so passionate about what they wanted, whether it was winning a national championship, whether it was getting to the league. And Coach Williams had a meeting with us as a team early in the season. And he said, I know a few of you guys had dreams and goals of getting to the NBA and playing professionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you guys have goals and individual goals. He said, all we have to do is win. And if we win, everything will take care of itself. And he didn't tell not one lie in that situation. When he was sitting in my room recruiting me, for me personally, Coach Williams, he made the only promises Coach Williams made to me. He said, son, if you come to Carolina, nobody will feed you the way I'll feed you. You'll eat like a king. If you handle your business in school, you'll graduate on time in 4 years. He said, and I guarantee you'll get to the Final Four one time. I graduated in 4 years. I ate like a king, and they still treat us, they still feed us like kings when we're in Chapel Hill. And I went to the Final Four twice and almost had 2 national championships if I would have redshirted when I was dealing with an injury and stayed in 09. Like, you can't write a better script than that, man. You know what I'm saying? So because of all of that, now it carries over. It carries over to life. It carries over to other aspects of life. And now even with the youngsters that's on the team now, like, being around them when we came out there, like, this team's going to be a very good team. They're going to be fun to watch. They're going to be really fun to watch, man. And they have good kids on that team, good young men on that team, should I say. And, they have our support. And that's what it is. It's a trickle effect, because all of this is bigger than just us.
Right. Yeah. That's just crazy, which, that kind of just jumps right into my next question for you anyway. What did it feel like, man, when you saw that clock hit 000 or whatever and win the national championship? What did it feel like?
I was tripping, bro, because I was the only one shaking hands. Hey, I was catting off, bro. I was the only one shaking hands because it just felt fake. It felt fake. I was just, when we were at the reunion, Jesse Holly, shout out Jay Holly, played football for UNC, but also was just a hell of an athlete, but playing on a basketball team. And I told him, I said, man, when y'all were celebrating and everybody was hugging and jumping all on the floor and confetti dropping, I'm in the line. You see me in the line shaking hands, the the Illinois players. And I just remember just like looking around, and it's just like, nah, this not happening. Like, 10 minutes later, confetti still falling. Like, nah, this not happening.
Yeah.
And my parents, my aunt and uncle there, and you see everybody's families cheering and celebrating, and you see everybody grabbing their t-shirts, and shout out Hoots. If you know Carolina basketball, you know Eric Hoots. Eric Hoots is that guy. Eric Hoots is the guy. And Eric, I will say this, Eric Hoots is a big part. No, he's the main part of why we all stay so close together. Eric Hoots is the president of Chapel Hill. That's what I like to call him. He's just a good man. So, like, seeing him hand out the shirts and hats in that moment, and then after that, they do the one shining moment. We're on stage watching it. Then we go back in the locker room. Coach Smith is talking to us. Coach Williams is talking to us. Michael Jordan is talking to us. And you like, bro, this is stuff you see on like movies, TV. And then you know, you got sometimes you got to look down and like, oh, I have this North Carolina uniform on. Like this, I don't know. For me, it seemed fake, but it was you get back to the bus and you look at your phone and you got 80 missed calls, 100 text messages. You like, oh, this really happened. this really just happened. But I told you, man, it took truly almost 20 years for us to, be to reunite with the team and coaching staff a few weeks ago. For myself personally to be like, no, we did that. Like we're a part of history forever. And with my brothers and teammates, I wouldn't have did it with nobody else, man. Like a perfect group to do it with.
Yeah, that's it's like I said, it's an amazing feeling, bro. I know how I felt when I was sitting there watching it on TV. So I can imagine what it was like on the floor. Like, when I spoke to Ray Terry and David, I all, like I said, all similar stories, but all different stories. Like
Right.
it's one of those surreal moments. Like
Right.
and I mean, like I said, congratulations to you. Not many people can even utter those two words, national champion. And of course, you got the opportunity to do it. You did it. And I mean, kudos to you, man. I know it was a lot of hard work. And I mean, it paid off. It paid off in the end. So yeah, hats off to you, bro. Like these are some amazing stories, bro. Like I listen. I think with these episodes, I might have to end up like putting a book together, man, just with all of you guys' stories, like for sure. Like
You got it, man. It would also be fun. It would also be fun if you did a few interviews with a few of us together. Then you probably get nonstop jokes. Yeah, like you. My fault. I said too much.
Hell, nobody.
Hit him with the pop, the John Witherspoon.
Yeah. We got some things coming, Q, for sure.
My bad.
For sure.
My bad. That's on me.
You good, bro.
That's my turnover. That's my turnover. My fault.
Listen, I gotta
That's my
call Coach
TO.
Williams.
That's on me.
Yeah, I gotta call Coach Williams now.
That's on me.
Yeah, nah, it's all good, bro. All good for sure. But yeah, man. Like this is just amazing to me. This is surreal to me because I'm, like I said, I remember sitting there watching it on TV, and now that I'm in this space to be able to sit here and talk to you guys, maybe not face to face, but face to face, and hear these stories, it's surreal. It just words can't even describe it. Like I feel like I'm a part of that team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I was on that court, like with the confetti falling and everything. Just listening to you guys' stories, like I put myself on the court at that moment of like what I probably would have did. I probably would have told you like, Q, see that. Come on, man. It's time to celebrate, bro. Like I probably would have just came and snatched you up out the line from shaking hands, bro. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, man, get on over here, dog. Like we got celebrating to do for sure. But like I said, I understand it, man. And once again, congratulations, bro, because that's just incredible. It's just incredible, man. So
thank you, man. Like in that moment, like you see the pictures of people celebrating on Franklin Street, and I have friends and people who went to UNC who they wound up getting married, and that picture is in their house. Like I was celebrating that night when you guys won, or we hanging from the light pole on Franklin Street when you guys won. Like it wasn't just us. It affected so many people, man. You know what I'm saying? Like people, if you were there from 2004 to 2008, you considered yourself a national champion because you were there during that time. That's how important it was to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, like I said again, that's how the importance that I saw of Carolina, whether it be the rivalry with Duke. You're in a grocery store and somebody gonna say something to you like, man, you can lose every game, just don't lose this game. Like, that's when I realized the importance of Carolina. And it's not a lot of sports teams in this whole state. So Chapel Hill is looked at and treated like a professional team. And
Absolutely.
then you add the history to it, it takes it to a whole nother level. So again, man,
Bigger than the Lakers.
Yeah,
it sounds like it's bigger than the Celtics and the Lakers for sure.
Like, for real, it really it's just the dynamic of the whole entity of it. You feel what I'm saying? So to be a part of something like that, I'm just grateful, man. I'm just grateful. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just truly grateful and thankful for everything that has happened because of it, and even things that are still happening because of it.
Yeah. Hats off to you, bro. Hats off to you for sure. Hats off to you, man. So let me ask you this, because of course I asked Ray and I asked David the same question. Matter of fact, I asked all the alumni players because I'm sure that there are moments, or there are multiple moments, to where the coach, whether it was Coach Smith, Coach Guthridge, Coach Williams, even Coach Davis, if I end up speaking to some of the guys on the current roster, uh, give us a moment where Coach Williams had to get on you.
Coach Williams got on me every day. I'm not even gonna lie to you. We joke about that today.
It sound like Ray's story, boy. I'm gonna be honest with you. It sound like
oh no. He didn't get on nobody like he got on Ray Terry. He didn't get on no. Ray Terry was his own. Ray Terry was his own, man. Look, I'm telling you, Coach Williams got on everybody. I joke with him. I call him R-Dub, or I call him Boss Man, just nicknames I have for him. And we were joking, and when I saw him, I gave him a big hug, like, Boss Man. And we were talking. And this is actually a story where it was funny, because at the time, I'm a freshman, man, and I had to learn so much of basketball. I had to learn how to be a basketball player when I got to Carolina in a whole different way. Like, I had this talent, I had this and this, but it was terminology I didn't know. I didn't know what a hedge was. I didn't know how to guard, pick and roll. Like, everything was new. Yeah. And so trying to pick up everything fast. Mind you, this is 05, so we had these expectations on our team, and everybody's trying to carry their weight. We're in practice, man. I just keep turning the ball over, keep turning the ball over. Coach Williams blew the whistle. He was like, Q, just put the ball under your jersey and just run with it, son. If you're going to keep turning the ball over, just put the ball under your jersey and run with it. And then later in that practice, I come from the era of my fault, my bad, when you make a mistake. So I had a habit of always saying that. So I'm saying it when after I made a turn, Coach Williams stopped, blew the whistle. He's like, Q, stop saying my bad. We see that you made a mistake. We know it's your bad. And I'm like, you're right, Coach, my bad. And everybody fell out, bro. everybody fell out, man. Like, I got stories, man, like comedy stories, but definitely those are two where, just being myself, but also
understanding.
It was just nonstop comedy. It was nonstop. David, Raymond, Ray Terry, Melvin, Jawad, nonstop. Everybody's a jokester. Byron, Debo, like everybody. Jay Holly, the whole team. Charlie Everett, CJ Hooker, the entire team. And then you had like Coach Holiday. We call him Coach Smooth. Coach Holiday was a nut. Like Coach Holiday in a good way. Coach Rod would get his jokes off. Coach Williams would get his jokes off. But I will say this. When we got to St. Louis for the Final Four, one thing that I could sense was that Melvin and the seniors, but Melvin did a big part of just being like, man, let's just relax. Like, don't put more pressure on ourselves. We got here who we are. That's who we gonna be this weekend or this week.
Yeah.
And we were just always ourselves, man. No matter what happened off the court, when we came in between those lines, we were gonna do whatever we needed to help each other get that win.
Yeah. And it paid off. It paid off. It paid off tremendously. It paid off the best way it can pay off. Like,
For
it
sure.
don't get no better than that. Don't get
For
no
sure.
better than that. So for sure, man. So I tell you, Q, let's transition a little bit. Let's fast forward a little bit up
For
to
sure.
today. How do you give me your expectations on this year's team and everything? What do you think about it?
Um, and being able to see them practice a few times, see a few guys work out, because I was back in Chapel Hill for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a fun season. I really do. I think it's going to be a fun season. I think it'll be a team that work hard, really be scrappy and gutsy. And I told some of the players, as well as some of my former teammates, if this team can just trust each other and continue to build and grow, they could be very scary. Because you got RJ, who's been there and accomplished so much. Then you have players like Ian Jackson. You have Drake. And the entire team that's just working hard. And Coach Davis and the coaching staff is working hard. You have Big May, you have Coach Lebo, you have Marcus Page, who I'm just excited that he's over there, man. Not only to help with the point guards, him being one of the best point guards in Carolina history,
Yeah.
but just his humbleness and his knowledge of the game and the whole coaching staff. I think the team is going to be very fun to watch this year. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm not going to sit here and be like they're going to get here or they're going to make it to the Final Four or this. But I think that if things click the right way, they will get very far in this journey and in this season. So I'm looking forward to watching their games, man, for real.
Yeah, I truly I agree with you. It's a different team than what we're used to seeing. With with the lack of I guess a true big in the middle, like we know, like North Carolina is normally used to.
Right.
But there's so many different weapons, and like you said, if they click on all cylinders and really work together, um, this team is going to be extremely dangerous. And the expectations are going to exceed more than what people think it's going to be. Um, just because of how dangerous they are and the versatility and the flexibility that Coach Davis has, but the
Right.
versatility of so many different players that he has, and as far as the scoring, because anybody could give you so much on any given night if things click well. We
Right.
know
And you know,
RJ's
you know
going
how
to
you know how important defense and rebounding has always been for Carolina teams.
yeah,
Of course, we're going to run, but if this team can defend and rebound the ball well, offensively
yeah,
and defensively, I think they'll do very well. They'll do very
yeah,
well, man. Because
yeah.
just the
Coach
time
Davis
I've
got
been
to,
around them, they
yeah,
look like they play well together. Unselfish, you know.
yeah,
Coach Davis, like I said, Coach Davis and the coaching staff is working hard to get these boys right. So I'm looking forward to watching them.
yeah. I'm right there with you, man. I'm so excited for this season. I can't wait, bro. I cannot wait. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. Like I wish it was starting tonight. Honestly, to be honest with you, man. So I'm excited just because of the fact this is a different team than what I'm used to seeing.
Right.
Like when it comes to UNC, of course, but it's gonna be exciting. It's just gonna be exciting. So I mean, everybody's talking about all of some of these other teams or whatever, but with all of these big name players and things like that, but they're not really giving Carolina a lot of credit, like as they probably should, which is fine because then we just go out and we just prove ourselves to everybody. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. It's not a
I know
not a
it's
problem for me.
not often, but I like when we're not a target, so to say.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that was one thing that was interesting about that '05 team, and that some of us were talking about a few weeks ago together, where it was like, we were preseason number one. We're on the cover of Sports Illustrated and this, so we're coming into the season that year with a target on our back. We're getting everybody's best shot, no matter who it was. We lost the first game to Santa Clara before we went to Maui. You know what I'm saying? So that lets you know how bad people wanted to beat us, because we were already, set. This is who they think is supposed to win, and so to be preseason number one and then finish number one, again, man, like you can't write a better script than that. So it was a lot of stuff that we had to go through that year, man. A lot of stuff, but I think this team will be very fun to watch, man. And again, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Like I'm gonna be texting you like, yo, did you see that? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
bring you back on the show so we could chop up some things. Like, well, what did you notice? What, things like that. We're gonna be, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
Bro.
I need to definitely return for another interview, man, because I enjoyed today, man. I want to say on the show that I'm loving what you're doing, man. Just taking the time out just to show not only us players love, but Carolina as a whole love, your love and support for it. And however we can help and support you and continue to do that, just let me know, man. But I definitely love and appreciate what you're doing, bro. So thank you for just having me on your show again.
Absolutely, bro. Listen, open invitation. You have an open invitation, bro. You got the number. All you gotta do is hit me up, like, yo, like I want to come back. Like,
For sure.
it doesn't matter whenever you want to. Like, you know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
So it's an open invitation. I appreciate you for sure, taking the time out to stop through and chop it up with me for sure. Because I mean, like I said, I'm working hard, man. Trying to make things happen for sure. And it's just it feels good to just be in this position to be able to do all of this and like I said, chop it up with you guys. And I'm truly grateful for it to actually be in this position to be able to do so. So much love to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And big support from me. Whatever you got going on, of course, all you gotta do is hit me up. We can make some things happen for sure, man. For sure.
Most definitely, man. I wanna just shout out and send my love to all my former teammates, not just from the '05 team, but all my teammates that I played with in college, all coaching staff, all the coaches. And I forgot to say this earlier, the importance of the family. It goes beyond just the people that were in the basketball office.
Yeah.
It goes to the people that work at the concession stands, the people who work security, the people who work the gate. Because all of those people are important to us too, and they are family too.
Yep.
When I come back, it's not everybody, but there still is a lot of people who still work at Chapel Hill or at the Dean Dome from when we were in school. Yeah. And I went to a game last year or a year or two ago, and it was during the team's warm-ups, and it was this lady who does security, and she kind of turned and looked at me a couple times. She like, baby, why your face looks so familiar? And then I told her who I was, and she was like, I knew that was you. And so we hugged, talked to her for a minute or two, and then somebody else came to me on my team or something, and we started talking. And I sat back down, and the lady leaned over to me, and she said, "You still the same," and smiled. And that meant so much to me, man, because I didn't have a uniform on. I didn't shoot no free throw. I didn't shoot no layup. For her to say, "You're still the same," and to give me a kiss on the cheek and smile was, thank you for being you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being you. She was talking about my character. And so for anybody who watches this podcast, man, like, enjoy basketball, enjoy football, enjoy baseball, enjoy whatever it is you do in life that you have a passion for. But also, just as hard as you work on that craft, work even harder to be a good person, because people will appreciate and love you even more for that. You know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's just my tip of the day. But again, just shout out to everybody's family. Shout out to Mike Copeland and Will Graves too, who both just had their first both just had their first child. 2 boys, so it's some more boys. Probably probably some more Tar Heels on the way. But
Well, for sure.
congratulations to my brothers, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Listen, that's Quentin Thomas, everybody. Quentin Thomas. The man himself. The man himself. I appreciate you, Q. Listen, let everybody know if you're on socials or whatever where they can find you at, bro.
Oh man, I'm on social media. I have a personal page, The Town GQ, TheTown That's on Twitter as well as Instagram. And then I'm also coaching too. I'm actually coaching out here in the Bay Area, College of Alameda, with Hall of Famer Gary Payton and incredible coaching staff out here, man. So looking forward to that. I have a basketball page, coaching page, String Along.
Okay.
That's under my One Day Soon brand. That is String Along, STRINGALONG _ODS. String Along _ODS. And those are just a few places you guys can find me. Still doing music, still a part of that. Working on an album and other things for next year. So I've been having a lot of fun, man, just balancing basketball and music and other passions that I'm doing. But I'm not hard to find. I'm not hard to find. So out here on the West Coast between Oakland and Vegas, the Bay Area and Vegas. And then hopefully I can get back to Chapel Hill soon, man. So when I come back to the Hill, I'll tap in with you for sure.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Big shout out to the glove. You know what I mean? My guy,
Yeah.
GT.
Shout out to GP and just the coaching staff for that opportunity. We have a great group of kids, man, that's working hard. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and hopefully God can keep propelling me or taking me to higher levels. So I'm just grateful, man, and just tunnel vision right now, focusing on that, and whatever door opens from that, on to the next.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's Quentin Thomas, everybody. That's my guy. Up. I know what that
Somebody at
means.
the door.
There's somebody at the door, bro. I gotta figure out who that is. Gotta go and see who that is for sure. So everybody listen, we appreciate everybody for tapping in. We got Q in the building. I appreciate him stopping by. Everybody just make sure you tap in with me. I do this for you guys. So until the next time, I'll chop it up with you.